You're welcome to another What We Wish Our Parents Knew episode. Today, we're going to be continuing our conversation from where we left off. We're going to be talking about sex. But before we delve into it, have you had the conversation with your child? Yep, the conversation about sex. You know what? It's not going to get any less awkward. So the earlier you start having it, the better, because sex is everywhere. And with each passing day, you hear one more horror story or the other. Anyway, Funsho, what's our question for the week?
I think I'm bisexual and I enjoy reading lesbian stories.
Okay, I told you we're continuing the conversation, but from a slightly different perspective. Same-sex relationships is getting more rampant. The society that we live in is becoming more embracive, even though in Nigeria it is illegal to engage in anything that is defined as same-sex relationships. Anybody caught engaging in such activities stands a chance of being sent to jail for 14 years. Why are we taking this? About a week ago, a story broke about 2 undergraduates in a private university in Nigeria that were allegedly caught engaging in lesbian activities. Now, the institution has come out to refute that story. But my question is, just what if it was true? Or just what if your child came out and said, "Mom, I think I'm gay, or I think I'm a lesbian." What would you do? Do you even have a right to say anything? And I'll tell you why I asked that question. Have you spoken to your children? Do your children know where you stand as regards same-sex relationships? Or is your position just God forbid? Because you see, God forbid is really not a position. You may think it is. With the influences from Western societies, same-sex relationships has almost become normal. I mean, our children, even cartoons these days, are beginning to have same-sex characters in their scripts. Television, social media, it's projecting that. And you're almost thought to be offending when you do not embrace same-sex relationships. We must have that conversation with our children. So when you do have that conversation, and I deliberately said when and not if, because as a proactive parent, surely by now you know that there are some conversations you should have. You're going to have to look at it from different perspectives, because you're probably asking how, for some reason, actually, I think having conversations about same-sex relationships is a bit easier for parents, because their position is usually, it is not your portion. Unfortunately, for our children, that is not a full conversation. I have been accused by some youths that I talk to and relate with of being homophobic. Let me say, for the avoidance of doubt, that I am not homophobic. And I'll explain what I mean. I do not hate people who engage in same-sex relationships. However, their choices do not align with my values. Their choices do not align with my ideology. And their choices do not align with my religious beliefs. And I am entitled to my beliefs, just like you are. Now, for this girl who has come out to say, "I think I'm bisexual and I like reading lesbian novels," it sounds to me like she needs help. So if you were faced with that situation, what do you do? Talk to her. There are 2 perspectives you can talk to her from. One is from the legal perspective. Let her know the position of the law in Nigeria. Like I said, 14 years imprisonment awaits anybody who is caught engaging in such activities. 1. 2, let her know the position from a religious perspective. In Nigeria, there are 2 predominant religions, Islam and Christianity. And none of the 2, as far as I know, embraces LGBTQ. If you do not know what that is as a 21st century parent, please go and Google it. It is something you should know. It is not a slang. It is an acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, or some people say questioning. Neither Christianity nor Islam embraces it. So if you're going to have the conversation from that perspective, you need to let your child know the position from your religion. But before you do that, I have a question for you. Where do you stand? What do you believe? What are your ideologies and your values concerning same-sex relationship? Because you cannot give what you don't have, and you cannot stand on the fence. It's been said, you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. So do you believe that it's okay to engage in same-sex activities, or don't you? Then you can have that conversation with your child. Is it abnormal for a child to feel attracted to someone of the same sex? Honestly, it's neither here nor there. Why? Because people have come up with different explanations. Some say it is biological, some say it is hormonal, some say it is spiritual, some say it is a figment of the imagination. It doesn't really matter what it is. What matters is the fact that a child has come out to say, I think I am more inclined to having relationships with someone of the same sex. And you know what? It's actually quite prevalent. Our children are being approached regularly, in spite of the fact that it is illegal, by people of the same sex. What should they do when they encounter such advances? How do they handle it? Those are conversations you must have. Parents, we live in the digital world where all kinds of things are being pushed at our children, from cartoons to sitcoms to social media posts to bullying. Some people have even been bullied because they say they are homophobic. You are free. Your children should know that they're free to hold on to their values and to hold on to their beliefs. One thing you can't shy away from is reinforcing what those values are. Until we come your way again next week, keep doing that. Keep letting your children know what you stand for, and keep reinforcing values as you parent in this digital age.